Well, it's a pleasure to see Ariel Katz here at the Galien Foundation. I know him for so many years, and he is the founder and president of a company called H1, a gold sponsor of the Galien Foundation. He's also a speaker on artificial intelligence here at the Galien Forum. So, Ariel, good to see you again.
I'm excited to be here, like every year. It's great.
Artificial intelligence has changed a lot in the last year.
Very much so, and I'm excited for how it's going to change the way clinical trials are run. It's going to reduce the cost. It's going to reduce the time that clinical trials take. It's going to bring therapies to patients much quicker, help with pricing. If you shrink clinical trials and make it cheaper, pharma companies can charge less because they spend less money, and it'll bring drugs to the world quicker. So I'm very excited about it.
How long will this whole process take?
Until AI transforms.
Correct.
I think it's going to be like the iPhone. Remember when it just came out and you just started to use it, and then 5 years later, you can't meet someone without an iPhone or a smartphone? I think in 2 to 5 years from now, the whole way clinical trials are done are going to be transformed. I would bet on shorter, but being regulatory could slow it down a bit.
Tell us about H1.
H1 are missions to connect the world to the right doctors. We know everything about every doctor around the world, and we partner with pharma companies, life science companies to help them collaborate with the right doctors for research, commercial, medical activities.
So basically you can find the best doctors and the worst doctors.
We can tell you the worst doctors not to work with. You got to know the best and you got to know the worst sometimes.
Is this available to consumers or is it only to the medical or the research community?
So life sciences companies use it directly, and we also work with insurance companies which populate the Find a Doctor page. So if you want to use H1 as a consumer, just go to your insurance website, find a doctor in your network, you'll find that information in there.
How do you come up with this idea, with this concept?
I started a company before which profiled every professor from aerospace and literature and science, and realized we got most of our users in the life sciences and medical areas. And I was chatting with a couple friends who you know as well from high school, and we said, what should we do next? Should we create the next Facebook? And I made the statement, look, I know nothing about anything except for this one thing in the world. I'm probably, out of 7 billion people, I'm probably on a short list of who knows a lot about how to profile medical research. I'm just going to do that because I know how to do that well, and I think it's a good mission, and that's how we did it.
Was it difficult to start from scratch and reach the level that you're at today?
So the first startup was, you're climbing up a mountain. For this one,
the academic one.
The academic one, that was very difficult. This one, within 3 months of starting it, I emailed Gilead, AstraZeneca, and AbbVie and said, hey, I could tell you the top doctors around the world. And they were like, when can I buy it? And I was actually pretty surprised about how quickly this
How were you able to do the research?
So the truth? The way it worked was I would go and contact the pharma companies, and my co-founder would sit behind a computer 24/7 over the weekends and make sure we had all the information. Eventually, we raised some money, and now it's a whole business. But it would literally be, I would go into AstraZeneca's office and tell them, I could tell you the top oncologist in Spain and in South Korea. And my co-founder would sit there on Excel 24/7, collect it by hand. And now we have technology and machines.
You can use AI to do it now, right?
No, we use a lot of AI to do it.
Are you using AI to confirm?
We use a lot of AI now, particularly to help with finding the right doctor to run a clinical trial. It's a very hard problem. And so we help life science companies find the right doctor to run a clinical trial, reduce costs and increase time.
Is there a shortage of doctors in the United States and elsewhere?
So what H1's doing now, which is unrelated to our core business, there's a big shortage of doctors in Israel and in the Middle East right now. It's 400,000 reservists got called up to fight in the conflict. Most hospital departments lost 80% of their doctors. So it's very sad. And so continuity of care, like a 70-year-old that has a heart condition or gastro condition, there's no doctor. And so we are helping volunteers fly over to Israel. And it's also incredibly devastating what's happening on the Gazan side and Palestinian side. And so there's a shortage of doctors there, shortage of staff. And so we're helping fly doctors over there. That's what we're doing now as well,
Wow.
help the mission.
Are you also helping? I know you specialize in doctors. What about nurse practitioners? Because that's fills in for doctors. Are you able to do the best and worst of that category too? Is that on the radar screen?
No, on the roadmap, we mostly focus on doctors. More information about doctors, and nurses are angels, by the way. Nurses just like deliver babies, take care of sick patients, do things that we would never do.
Nurse practitioners, they fill in for doctors in a lot of cases.
They're basically the doctor in a lot of cases.
So that's what I'm wondering if you're going to evaluate them too. Is there a need for it?
We look at care teams a lot of the times, but if you look at which doctor is good at running clinical trials, it's the care team around them, the physician assistant, the resident, the nurse practitioner. So you do look at a care team of who sees a patient. It's hard to pinpoint, was it the nurse or the doctor that gave the wrong drug? but a lot of it's the care team associated with it. But we focus a lot on healthcare MDs, DOs right now.
All right, Katz, well, wonderful to see you again.
It was good to see
Keep
you.
up the wonderful work. H1, the company to remember for the best doctors. And he doesn't want to stress the worst doctors, but if you know the best, you also know who the worst are.
Yes, exactly right.
It's a package deal.
Yes.
Hey, thank you. Good to see you.